Are your friends going to be around when something big happens in your life? Let's say you go through a breakup. If you have a death in the family, do you think they'll be able to support you when you really need them the most? You may have friends that you might think are going to be there through thick and thin, but when it comes to the inevitable downs of life, support is necessary to help you maintain your own mental and emotional health. I don't think there's anything in the world that's worse than facing a tragedy with people that you think are going to be there for you, only to find out that they cannot support you. This is why I started a monthly series about our social circles. In these monthly series, we will discuss some of life's challenges. We will examine the help and support we might need to get through these particular challenges. We're all going to have to face them in some way, shape, or form, so let's be ready. This month, we're going to be talking about breakup and loss. Friendship breakups to divorces to bereavement. We're going to have a discussion about support that we need in those situations. If you don't know what you need, this is the event for you. You don't have to suffer alone. You don't have to figure it out alone. There are people who are willing to share their stories. In this series, we will have an interview with someone who's had their personal experience. We'll have a panel discussion. We'll also have a breakout session so that you can talk to people about your own experiences. And finally, we'll have a keynote speaker with powerful insight and actionable steps, because we never ever want to highlight a problem and not come with a solution. So join me on Saturday, April 22nd at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. It's a free event. All you need to do is register. Go to the link in the show notes to get your free tickets right now. Again, it's April 22nd at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'll see you there. Hey, what's going on? My name's Coach Lee Hopkins. My pronouns are he, him, his, and you're listening to the Patterns of Possibility podcast. This is a podcast dedicated to helping you replace harmful patterns with new possibilities. In each episode, we'll explore topics that inspire you to be yourself, live your truth, and make lasting connections. In this episode, we're going to talk about the whole purpose of connecting in the first place. I want to tell you that there are people that you connect with for a reason, for a season, and for a lifetime. Knowing the difference of why you keep people around in the first place is really going to help you strengthen your connections. Are you ready? Let's go. In my experience in making and breaking friendships and connections, I've learned that after I reflect on that experience, reflecting back on these experiences, I've learned that each of the people in my life, the truly strong connections that have lasted for years, for some period of time, they've always had a purpose or a reason to be connected to me. They may have wanted something from me, and I may have wanted something from them. I think that's what connections are formed in the first place, is that we have a need that the other person meets. And the strongest connections came from when we both were very clear about the needs that were being met. We both were very clear. We had expectations on how this person is going to support me and how that other person will be supported by me. We were aware of our reason, right? But most of us, and for many years, I have not been aware of the reason why I was around people. Like for a very long time, I would go drinking, would go to the bars and I would drink, and I would just hang out with people and talk. And I would say, I want a friend. I wanted somebody to talk to. I want to be closely connected. I would do that all the time and talk to people and drink. And I'm there just seemingly for that reason to connect, but never really making that connection. Never really talking about the things that would get me closer to people to make an authentic connection. So what was the purpose of having those people? If I look back on it, the purpose was to fill time and space and just not be alone. That was the purpose for them, because we weren't going to make an authentic connection. Now that I know how to these days, I know back then there was no way. It wasn't possible for me to. But I only bring that up because the reason to be connected with someone wasn't really clear to me. What was happening in the space is that we were both connected in the fact that we were drinking together. That would be a more clearer reason. And if I had just looked at the situation and said, you're a person to drink with me and talk about stupid shit with for a few hours, that's what we're going to do. And we're going to forget each other exists after we leave, because alcohol would just kind of wipe our memories. That's what happened to me a lot. I wouldn't remember much about people. Just gone. So we would do that. And if I knew that that was the reason for me to be there, I probably would have had a better time. I'd have probably felt more present and connected with them. So I share that with you because most people we encounter and develop a connection with are friends for a significant reason. The ones that stay with us for a long time, we understand the purpose of it being more than just a quick conversation. We see more skills and attributes and how they can help us in the future. And same with them. They see it in us. They see it in us. But somewhere in between those really quick, instantaneous connections or short connections that last for a minute or an hour or a day or a week, there are the ones that last a little bit longer. There's that friends for a reason, right? We get together for a reason. There's a reason for us to be in this one space. And perhaps we unconsciously chose to be there together. Like me getting on a bar stool next to somebody. Oh, there it is. I'm talking to somebody. They're talking to me. We had no idea that we were going to meet. We just let fate bring us together and we're sitting together. A reason. That's it. There's a friend for a season or a connection for a season. And I think those people are the kind of people who hang out for a longer time. Like it's a season. We don't know how long a season could be, but the lesson just isn't in the instant first reason we connect with each other. Perhaps we have a conversation. We learn a little more about each other. We hang out with each other for perhaps even years. And they're friends or connections for a season. They keep supporting us and we keep supporting them in a reason that is unclear to both of us. I want to say it's really unclear to both of us about the kind of understanding that we need to have with each other. And I say it's unclear, if you're sure, maybe you're thinking that it's intentional to go play tennis with somebody or go play basketball or go play board games or actually choose to be in the space with them. But once we know that reason for being with them, there are other things that happen. There are other things that we learn about ourselves through that person we talk to. So we've got that reason, but other ones show up. There's a reason to intentionally share space and have a conversation with a person. There's a reason to intentionally pick up the phone and send them a text or call them. You got your reason to connect. But these friends for a season, there are other things about yourself that they are going to show you that aren't clear. They aren't clear. When the lesson has been learned, that's when the season ends. It doesn't have to be that your relationship ends, but the lesson that you needed to learn is over. You've learned it. You stop repeating the pattern, and that's the end of the season. They help you out with that situation. So let's say, for example, that you are a really needy person like I was. I just needed attention. I needed to be near somebody. I also needed to not be said no to. I wanted somebody to accept me. So I connect with a person who continuously does those things that I want them to do, right? They accept me. They're excited for me. They're happy. They like me. They keep demonstrating that they like me. I have a reason to share space with them because perhaps I like them too. They're sharing with me. And during this season, I start resenting. I start feeling like I'm not worthy. I start feeling like they really don't like me. I start believing that they really are just putting on a show. Here is a lesson for me to learn. There is something about myself that my friend that I'm there for a reason with, I like them. I supposedly want to play something with them or do something with them, play a game with them or watch a movie with them. But when I share space with them, I don't feel like I deserve it. There's my lesson. There's the lesson. A reflection and what you're really thinking about yourself. I think that's what our friends and that's what our connections teach us. I think that's the whole purpose, to be honest with you. I think that's the whole purpose of our existence here and connecting with people and our desire to know people. In full transparency, that's what I use connections for. That's how I see everybody. Everybody who knows about themselves, who consciously comes to me and chooses to share time and space and energy with me, are going to teach me something. Even the people who don't know those things about themselves, if I've run into them, I'm going to learn something about myself. And I love it. I think it's just the best thing ever. I'm having a really great time in meeting new people and meeting people that I connect with on a constant basis and learning something about myself or reinforcing those experiences or reinforcing my learnings about my life with them. I love it. And I wish for you to have those same kind of deep social connections, those friendships where people are not there just for one reason, but they'll stay with you through a season to last a lifetime. I'll be right back with the Reddit friendship advice question. Are you tired of having boring conversations about nothing that lead to nowhere, that just feel like a waste of your time? Do you want to have deeper, more authentic connections with people in your life? Then skip the small talk and speak from the heart. My name's Coach Lee, and I'm an expert in helping people build stronger, more fulfilling social connections, both personally and professionally. If you're tired of having these boring conversations, then come to my free webinar to learn exactly how to skip the small talk and speak from the heart. Because we had such an overwhelmingly positive response to the webinars for March, I'm going to do it again this month in April. I'll be hosting these webinars twice a week, once on Wednesdays and once on Saturdays. To reserve your seat, click the link in the show notes and select the time that works best for you. Space is limited to just 10 people, so reserve your seats sooner rather than later. I'll see you there. Alright, now it's time for the Reddit friendship advice question. If you have a friendship advice question that you think I should answer, tag me in it on Reddit. My handle is Brilliant and Resilient. That's Brilliant, the letter N, Resilient. Growing jealous of my best friend. Help. So, I have a best friend. She's a gorgeous blonde, fun and spontaneous, love her to death. However, lately I've been growing jealous and annoyed with her. I don't know if I'm becoming toxic or not. Lately, I've been going out more, trying new activities like skateboarding, painting, and live music and festivals. And she has also been joining me on these ventures, which I don't mind. I love doing things with her. Also, she's been getting into all my other hobbies, interests, and her fashion is getting similar to mine. So now I feel like she's doing everything I do because she's already like a model, gets loads of attention, and I just feel like she's becoming a better version of me, and I'm feeling so little and overlooked by others when I meet people with her. When I'm with her, I feel like the brunette sidekick who makes the blonde confident girl look better. Has anyone ever gone through this? Or am I being reasonable or unreasonable? I don't know if I should confront her about it or what. Okay, we've had a similar question like this before. But the focus of this episode is on the Friends for a Reason season and lifetime. And I picked this one because, I wonder what the reason is for you to be with her in the first place. And I wanted to focus on that because the rest of the stuff will make sense. Like the feeling of the jealousy will make sense. In your post, Redditor, you had mentioned that you really enjoy hanging out with her. You do, right? Is that the purpose of your connection in the first place? To hang out and talk and do things together? I think that if you really focused on that piece and understanding what's important about you being together in the first place, it's going to help you stay stronger in your connection with them. There is a season, can be a season for this friendship. There's definitely something to learn, and it's always learning something about you and how you feel about the world, your experiences, yourself, all those things. You're going to learn this feeling of jealousy and not being good enough by hanging out with this person, by being able to understand what it is about you that makes you feel that she's doing more than you or she's better than you, and understanding that perhaps that is not her intention. And, I said it on this podcast. I'm really big fan of understanding the impact rather than intention. But I did want to look at this intention, this piece right here, just because I want to point it back to you. So you don't know what their intention is, but you do know how you feel about the intention. It's the impact, or you know how you feel about the experience, rather. It's the impact that we're focused on, the impact. So you don't know what's going on in her mind. You don't know if she's actually intending to try and hurt you, to upstage you, and you're jealous of her. You don't know that's what she's trying to do. But you do know the impact of her changing and mimicking you, and you feel like she's trying to upstage you and become a better person. I want to tell you, Redditor, that is all you. That's all your stuff. That is all you. I don't know what's going on in her mind. You don't know what's going on in her mind. The best way to find out is to have a conversation about it. To find out the purpose of you hanging out together. If that is the purpose of her hanging out with you, then you're probably not going to want to hang out with her anymore. But if she says something like, the purpose of me hanging out with you is because I enjoy your company and I admired a lot of the things you do. I think you are so outgoing and interesting. I love hanging out with you. If she said that to you, that would color the way you think about her a little differently, I'm sure. Now, right now, you have something wandering around in your head saying that she is trying to upstage you and become a better version of you. And the spoiler alert, I don't know if it applies here, but the truth, I think, is that nobody can be a better version of you because you are the only version of you that is, and it's the best thing of all time. It just is. So no matter what experiences that you're having, there is nobody that can be you, ever. Ever, ever. So there can never be a better version. I hope that gives you some understanding that even if she tried, she'd fail. And there's nothing to be jealous of because it's not possible. You are amazingly you. Like Dr. Seuss said, no one is youer than you. But the focus, again, is the purpose of your connection with her. And I'd ask you to look at that and deep dive and understand what it is that you love about being with this person. The focus that will keep you connected together, because you definitely have to bring this. I believe that you'd have to bring this to the surface. Even if you don't share it with her immediately, you have to sift through it and understand your own feelings about what makes you believe that she can possibly even be better than you. What is it that you see in her that you believe that you are lacking? That is a lesson that's going to help you for the rest of your life. If you learn it today, you'll be able to spot it. Imposter syndrome. It'll show up as imposter syndrome later in your life when you're working with people that might do a job that is better than you, or they do a job that is something different than what you do, and you will compare yourself. And the lesson here is just not to compare, not needing to compare and bring your self-worth into it. But you're doing that with a close friend. And that's something that I highly recommend that you explore yourself. So how can you explore that? I love to give actionable steps because, man, when people would tell me go make friends, they would say just go do talk. Go do talk. Just talk to them. Just talk to people about stuff. And I don't know what to talk about. But the truth of I think real connection and helping people understand, or helping myself understand how to connect with people, is that I needed to know what I was feeling inside and how I was displaying it on the outside. So I can't possibly have a conversation with someone if I'm afraid of their rejection. I can't have a nice, calm, easy conversation because in the background, I'm thinking they don't like me, or they're disgusted with me, or they never wanted to talk to me in the first place and they're just pitying me. If I have all that stuff running in the background, the words that come out of my mouth is going to reflect that. So I need to go somewhere, sit down, and understand what the heck it is that's running in the background saying those terrible things to me. What I believe, those terrible things about myself. And so this is what we're going to do here. So sometimes, I guess what makes me good at what I do is that I can recognize when that idea pops up, like where it comes from. Like as soon as it appears, you get that thought in your head that says, she's better than you. They hate you. Stuff like that. Like, oh, there it is. I'm doing it. The voice really isn't super loud. So we sometimes miss that. But it will reflect. It will come out in our feelings. And if we can't feel it, if we don't notice the feeling, it'll come out in our actions. And our actions are something that is a lot more noticeable than just our feelings. Because we can see them and other people can see them. Other people can see what we do. So where am I going with this? As far as it relates to the actionable steps for this person who feels like their friend is trying to upstage them, what they can do is hone in on the thing that is creating that reaction for them. So they had mentioned that their friend is getting into their other hobbies and interests and fashion, right? So we want to reflect on these experiences when that friend is out there already looking like a model and getting loads of attention. So right at the moment when you notice that jealousy pop up or that frustration pops up, what we want to do is take inventory of the situation. Look at the event. What happened? Did she say something? Did she do something? Did another person smile at her? What happened in that situation? What we're going to do with that is explore that situation in a non-emotional state. So when you're able to capture that feeling or that experience, that event that had happened, like, oops, there's jealousy. And if you don't feel the jealousy, maybe you do something. Maybe you say something in the moment. Well, she's not all that great. Maybe you'll say something. The action will come out. Look for those events. Write them down. And then leave it for a moment and return back to that event. I say leave it for a couple of days, but the idea is to capture that intensely emotional event and return to it when you're not feeling that intense emotion. That gives you an opportunity to look outside of yourself and to ask yourself some clarifying questions. What is really happening here? What is causing me to feel this way? What did I notice that she did wrong? You're likely not going to find that she did anything wrong. She's just being her. All the stuff is coming from you. So you want to explore what is coming from you. What is it that you're really feeling? And it has nothing to do with her. So when you learn this lesson sooner rather than later, the people that you connect to in the future are going to benefit from, you're going to benefit from them. They're going to benefit from you because you will have learned and you would feel more comfortable with them. And then you can have friends for a longer time. Because if it continues this way, your friendship is going to blow up pretty quickly. So when you have these feelings, discover the event that had happened and the feeling, write that stuff down, and then revisit it. I'm talking about journaling. Yes, I'm talking about journaling. Journal that and revisit when you're not in a space in which you feel so angry. That gives you an opportunity to reflect and to learn more about yourself. And in this space, you can also take it to your friend. If you ever get to this point where you can share that with your friend, like, man, this is something else, but I just have to tell you, friend, I'm so jealous. And, have a conversation about that. And hopefully your friend can hold space for you and help you through this. Hopefully you won't blame them because it's not their fault. It's coming from you. And I've said that 25,000 times already, but I really want to make sure that you understand that you are empowered to make the change in this situation. It's not that they need to do something different. It's you. You're the one who's empowered to make the change. So with that said, you can have your friend for a purpose or a reason. It could be this reason to hang out with each other, to do cool things together, or you can have them for the purpose and the season of just understanding more about yourself, and that would be the end of it. Or you can continue to talk and take responsibility for your side of the situation, for your actions, for your own feelings, and express them and let them work it out with you and have a friend for a lifetime. Redditor, thank you so much for asking your question. I know that you didn't ask me to answer it, but I did, and I hope that it helps. Best of luck to you. Take care. My name is Coach Lee Hopkins, and you have been listening to the Patterns of Possibility podcast. You can find me at patternsofpossibility.com and on all social media at Patterns of Possibility. And as always, I want to encourage you to be yourself, live your truth, and there you'll make lasting friendships.